Oh, so what's your first name and how old are you?
My name's Jordan Griffiths and I'm now 26.
And how long have you been at Shalom?
Coming up 4 years in total.
And what would you say the root cause of your addiction or problem was?
Yeah, it's definitely, for me, definitely just childhood stuff that I never knew how to communicate or deal with myself.
What sort of childhood stuff, what do you mean?
Yeah, probably abandonment, rejection, no self-worth, a lot of that sort of thing, yeah.
What sort of effect did that have on you?
Grew up with no confidence. I definitely had no identity. I didn't know my identity. Always found myself trying to fit in here and there, and it didn't work, so I was pretty lost growing up.
Did you grow up using drugs or substances?
By the time I hit 16, the exact day that I ran away from home, drugs was first there for me to take. So
what did you start with?
It was weed to start with.
What was the addiction in the end?
Pretty much everything, like all the party drugs, drinking mainly, and then I was starting to get into the meth a bit. So that woke me up a bit because I knew if I didn't stop, I was gonna be on a path of destruction, even more so from there.
And so what sort of effect did the drugs and that have on your life?
Look, I was very dark. Mentally, I was lost. I had a lot of dark things going through my mind. I was carrying a lot of shame. A lot of anger, a lot of hurt, and I was guilty for doing a lot of things, and just ended up in a very bad spot. I was either going to end up dead or in jail. So.
And what brought you to the point where you reached out to change? What was the finale?
In all honesty, for me personally, I wouldn't say that I actually hit rock bottom, but I was definitely at a point where I knew I needed to change, and if I didn't, it was going to be bad. But what happened was everything in my life had shut down. My job, I couldn't get to my job. All my cars were stuffed. I damaged all my friendships, no relationships with my family, so I had nowhere to go. I was stuck out on a farm, so I was pretty lost.
And what have you achieved since you've been in Shalom? What changes have taken place?
I think one of the bigger ones was finding myself. And then growing as a person, but also through the help of mentors and all the staff, all that sort of thing. I've definitely had help with the core issues that have affected me my whole life. And the thing is, now I'm not shameful about it. I'm happy to speak and share all that with people. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so best and worst thing about Shalom?
Best and worst thing about Shalom, I think having to confront yourself, looking on the inside can be a bit scary, especially opening up and talking about the things that you haven't told people before or been vulnerable about. That's pretty hard. But I suppose that's also for me probably the best thing too, because the weight that's lifted off me as a person, I wish everyone could feel confident enough to do that.
And the worst thing?
That probably was the worst thing.
Okay.
Having to confront that. But I think for a long time it was probably the time frame that I knew my program was going to be. Having to sacrifice so many years. Yeah.
Was it worth it?
100%.
And so what would you say to somebody else who's struggling?
Yeah, look, man. Honestly, if you think you're too far gone, or if you think you've done too many bad things, or you've got nowhere to turn, you've got somewhere to turn. You just have to get over realistically your pride and your shame, and you have to reach out for help. Even if it is hard for you to do. I recommend it.